You ready?
Yep.
Okay, two kinds of microscopes. You have your compound microscope. This is the one you use traditionally with slides. They magnify anywhere from about 40 to 400 times. And then you have your stereo microscope. Stereo means that you're looking at it through both eyes. Obviously, you only have one eyepiece here you're looking at with one eye. The stereo microscope typically magnifies 10 to 40 times. So you get less magnification, looking at bugs, living critters, slightly larger items. You're going to use this microscope. Today we're going to focus just on the compound microscope only. Compound microscope parts, and I know you've seen this before, it's online in 101 places. So if this video doesn't help, or my talking here doesn't help, go online, look up the parts of a microscope. Arm, base, that's how you carry it, two hands all the time. Obviously there's a cord, you've got a light source down here. This microscope only has one power button because all the light comes shining up from the bottom. It's a little bit different when you move to the stereo microscope. So light comes up from the bottom. This is your stage. This part is called the nose, and those are all the objective lenses. And so there are 3 different objective lenses that give you different magnifications. A couple of other parts. You have your coarse adjust and your fine adjust. Coarse adjust is only used on the lowest power, which is the shortest objective lens, which has a red ring on it. Okay? So that's when you're going to use your coarse adjust knob. If you're on either of the higher powers, medium or high, you're only going to be using that fine adjust knob. That's the biggest thing. If you start using coarse adjust and you're up here on this highest power, you can take the slide that's on the stage and you crush it on the bottom of the objective lens. And it scratches the lens and then you can't use it anymore, and that needs to be replaced. So that's the biggest thing, is when you're on higher powers, fine adjust. That's the thing I'm a stickler about when you're using the microscopes, because that's where the damage comes into our microscopes. The only other thing on this one is there's a dial in the front here. Can you hear it clicking? It clicks through. It attaches to this disc on the bottom. Basically, it's a disc that has different size holes in it. And those holes allow for more light. It's called the diaphragm, okay, because it controls that amount of light. Think of it like this. If you're looking at something very transparent, and one of the things you're looking at, the first thing you're looking at today is the onion cell. It's exceedingly transparent. What happens if you're outside at night and somebody takes a flashlight and flashes in your eye? You can't see anything. That diaphragm is like that. So you don't want to have it open to the widest, or if you're having trouble finding something, check and make sure. Change that diaphragm so that you have a smaller aperture, which is an opening, smaller opening, less light. It's like taking your hand over that flashlight and then shining it in your eyes. You can kind of now see around what you're looking at. So that's one of the biggest things when students say, I can't see anything. Make sure you're not blinding yourself. Okay? Last thing is when you are actually using a microscope slide, the steps, the procedure on how to focus the scope. I will not come and do this for you 100 times. And I promise you, I never learned how to do it properly until I taught school. So this is one reason why we're videotaping, so you can come back to these steps over and over again. First of all, make sure if the slide is labeled, if it's a prepared slide, that you're holding it and looking at it and you put it on the stage facing you so you could read that label. So you're going to put the clips in. Notice I'm not even looking through the microscope yet. I would have it plugged in. I would turn the light on. But the next thing you're going to do is you're going to move that stage. The coarse adjust moves that stage up and down. You're going to move it all the way to the top. Don't crank on that. There's a stop point. Stop. Okay? Otherwise, we ruin the gears that control those. And then as you're looking through the microscope, the stage will start to slide down, which is really obnoxious. So just keep that all the way up. And do I have one that slides? I do. A little bit. We'll play with that one. I'll have to tighten those. So you put that stage all the way up to the top. Make sure you're on the lowest power. That's the smallest, the shortest objective lens. Okay? At that point, sort of, if you can see the object from the side on your slide, if it's something visible, make sure it's centered over the opening in the stage. And then you're going to go ahead and look through it. You can use the coarse adjust to slowly rotate down and away. If you are turning this more than about a quarter turn, you've probably gone too far. Come back, change the amount of light, the diaphragm if you can't find it, or adjust your slide on the stage to see if you can't find it. This is one of those that rolls down. Do you see it moving? Okay, so I'll have to tighten that. So for this one, we'll have to play around with a little bit. So once you have it, let's say I'm here, I've adjusted it, now I can see what I'm looking at, but I want to get a close view. You leave that course adjust right where it is, and you turn the objective to the medium. Double check that you can still see it. You might need to use the fine adjust a little bit. This is the step that most students skip. They go right from low power to high power, and you can't find what you're looking for. So stop on medium power and take a look. Second biggest mistake students make is they're here on low power, they get to medium power, they adjust, they find what they're looking at, and then they're afraid that when they switch to high power, that they're gonna knock that slide. And so they go like this, oh, I gotta get that out of the way. And they put that objective lens and then they try and find it on fine adjust. You will be here for 25 minutes winding up that fine adjust to get close to it again. When you have it on your closest power and you switch, you can fine adjust, switch again, fine adjust. I promise you it will not hit. Okay? Very few slides are made that will touch that objective lens when they're focused properly, but you just have to be looking through it. Questions on microscopes right now? Last thing I just want to mention is that these microscopes are what are called parfocal. The reason we stop on medium power, readjust, put your whatever you're looking at directly in the middle. Think of a bullseye. You have that image of light that you can see. Parfocal microscopes, when you go to medium power, they focus here. And when they go to high power, they focus here. So think of that bullseye. If you have something on medium power or on low power and it's out on the edge of what you can see and you go to a higher focus, it's now sitting out of where you can see and it's really hard to find it again. So always make sure that you center whatever you're looking at like you're looking at a bullseye, because then every time you focus in, it'll stay there for you. Beautiful. Capiche? Done.